Welcome to the NCAA March Madness second round post-game press conference. Please take this time to silence your cell phones and remember no flash photography is permitted. We would also like to remind you that no outside recording or distribution of this event is permitted by the NCAA. We are joined by University of Southern California head coach Lindsay Gottlieb and athletes Mackenzie Forbes, Juju Watkins, and Clarice Akunwafo. We ask that you please only ask a question when you have the microphone in your hand and that you state your name and publication each time you are handed the microphone. If you have joined us today through Zoom, please raise your hand and include your name and publication when called on. We will begin with an opening statement from Coach, move to questions for the athletes, and then back to Coach. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for being here. First off, I really want to credit Kansas for one heck of a season. The way they finished winning, I'm not exactly sure what it is now, but 8 of 10 down the stretch or something to make the tournament. The way they came back against Michigan says a lot about the coaching staff and Brandon Schneider and his staff, and also the makeup of that team. I know they won the NIT last year, and to have just about everyone returning and adding a terrific freshman, they put together a really good season, and want to congratulate them. I know it's hard when it ends. For us, I don't know if there's enough words. I'm elated, I'm joyed, I'm proud, overjoyed, I'm proud. For this to be the last time that our senior group is playing in this building, I want them to understand how special it was out here. I cannot thank our fans and our administration and the people who put this on. I think Galen was a great host. It's not easy to do that. There's a lot of work behind the scenes, and the fans showed up and showed out. It was electric, both games, and I can't. It means so much. I don't know if they understand it, because I sat with people in that office when I first got the job, and they said, no one comes to games. Why? I literally had a parent say, well, another coach said, why would you go there, when they only get X number of fans? And I said, it's going to take us a little bit, but we're going to get fans in here, and other people are still, then what are they going to say? And here we are, so I'm proud of that. Getting to the Sweet 16 is hard, and this team earned that. I couldn't be more proud. I thought today was our team on display. We are a team, right? I'm glad that the country got to see that. Ju is spectacular. They had to change and go to a zone, right, because of her attacking early on. I thought we came and made big play after big play. We shot the three really well, Kenzie and Ju and KP, and we found a way. And when I say a team, we always say Rhea is our go-to, right? But we also have Clarice, and for her to come in tonight in a critical moment and give us the boost that she did, we are all just so proud of her because we see it every day in practice, and she plays her role to a T. And sometimes that's less minutes, and sometimes that's more minutes. But she has become this consistent force for us. So for the world to see that was really awesome also. And I'll stop talking now so you can ask questions to the players. But I'm really proud of them, and I'm thrilled for this program and the people in it.
Thank you. We'll start with questions for the players, and in the front end of the row in the brown. Thank you.
Ladies, congratulations on the Sweet 16. And Coach, Juju, I just want to take you back to when I first met you at Sierra Canyon. I asked you why SC, and you said you wanted to start something special. After a tournament, 2 games in, a game like this where you have a new scratch on your face, this was physical. Both you guys took elbows to the face, came up big on the boards, really in every phase of the game. I just want to ask you now, what makes this team so special?
Like Coach said, it's the people. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else, from our staff to our president to our athletic director. So many great people that have invested into this program, and our success is a product of all of them buying in. So I'm just grateful to be here.
And then, Mackenzie, you stretched the floor beautifully tonight. The game got close in that third quarter. What worked so well for you guys to pull away late in that quarter and then to start that fourth?
I think just staying poised. I think I mentioned it the other night. We matured a lot through that Pac-12 tournament, and I think just through the year we've seen everything. We've seen zones, we've seen junk defense, we've seen man. So I think all of us, especially the guards, just kind of staying ready. You don't really know where your shot may come from, but I was feeling it from 3, so I was just trying to be confident in that area.
We're going to go to the green in the front row and then to the end of the front row.
Clarice, can you describe the physicality of tonight's game and how you guys weathered that, and then your career high in block shots?
Yeah. Sorry. Physicality. Yeah, it was physical, but I think every game is physical. I just go out there and do my best with that. Career high, that's kind of good. Thank you for telling me that. Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, just protect the ball and help my teammates.
Timothy Parker, Spectrum News 1, Los Angeles. I'll start with Mackenzie and then go to Juju on this question. I was right behind you when you were going through the crowd, giving high fives and all that stuff. What did this moment, that experience, what did it mean to you? And how do you feel about bringing USC Nation up to Portland with you guys?
Oh, it means everything. Especially, I think, like Coach mentioned, like being a senior, it's been such a blessing to play in front of this crowd, to play in Galen with all the history, and kind of like bring life back to it. So like, I just really want, like, I think you mentioned locker room, like we didn't want to leave the court. Like I just want to go around and make sure like the fans know we appreciate them so much. Like they had that place jumping, and it's so much fun to play with a crowd like that. So just super grateful.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, it's a Monday night in LA. I mean, we have students probably have homework in school in the morning. So just to know that people really support us throughout their busy schedules. They could really be doing anything else, but they decided to be here, so we're grateful for them.
How about going to Portland?
Yeah, we need y'all in Portland. We need y'all in Portland.
Yeah.
I think too, like you said, like we're kind of bringing it back to life. So I think it's a lot of these other schools kind of have those like long-standing fan bases that travel well. So like, if you can, we need you guys in Portland to come get loud for us because we're trying to win some more games.
Yep. We're gonna go to the third row in the middle.
Luke Evans, Orange County Register. Mackenzie, there's a moment, fourth quarter, after Clarice missed a couple layups where it looked like you kind of came over, put your arm around her, just like a little, pump up. And Clarice, obviously, rest of the fourth quarter, is out there and dominated. I mean, what did that speak to the trust that you guys have in her to know that she's going to come off the bench and, battle against any front court that necessary? And maybe, Juju, you can chime in here, too, but just the trust that you guys have in her as a player.
Yeah, 100% trust in Clarice. Every time she comes in the game, I know that there's going to be absolutely no drop-off. She's given us that kind of lift all season. Take it all the way back to UCLA at home when we didn't even have Rhea, and she was a beast. So, I have all the confidence in the world in her, and I know that sometimes I think she's a bit hard on herself, so I just try to make sure to lift her up. And like you said, she was a beast the rest of the fourth quarter, and that doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, honestly, I would put Clarice against any big in the country. So.
Clarice, just to Clarice, just to piggyback off that, you mentioned you're hard on yourself sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
How do you kind of stay mentally poised through those moments, and how has that process been this season?
For sure. Yeah, I'm always hard on myself. I think that's like my biggest problem. But I think my teammates for sure always have my back and always tell me that I'm okay. My coaches and just like even fans as well too, like always telling me and supporting me. It really means a lot.
And we have time for one or two more questions, so we're going to start with the second row on the end.
Casey Caslin, Daily Trojan. Mackenzie, obviously you've been through a few different programs, and now your third time around, you're on such a historic team. What does it mean for you as a veteran cornerstone of this team to kind of be a leader and find a new place and a new home here?
Yeah, it's been super special for me. I think, I've enjoyed my time at every school, but I think this being kind of like my last final run for it to be with this such a special group. I love everyone in this locker room. I love everyone on our staff. And to do it here where my family can come to every single game, it's just, I feel super blessed, super grateful. I've made some of like my best friends here. Shout out to the managers in the back. And I really do. I love it here. And I when I decided to choose a school for my fifth year, I wanted it to be someplace that would feel like home, even only after 1 year. And that's what I had hoped for here, and I think that definitely came true.
Final question. We'll go to the back row.
Juju and Adam Bradford, the Sporting Tribune. Juju and Mackenzie, obviously, this is your first year here for both of you. You guys took USC to the Sweet 16 for the first time in 30 years. Obviously, none of you were alive back then. So, Juju, you mentioned what. I wasn't alive either, but so you mentioned like wanting to build something here. So when you look back, what is it gonna be like looking back, knowing that you were two of the players who helped kind of bring USC back to national prominence?
I got it. You got it. Yeah, I think it means a lot to both of us. I think speaking for myself, like it's a blessing to play by her side. She's an incredible generational talent. I think you guys have seen that on display. Yeah, I just feel really lucky to be a part of the group that kind of brought it back and also shine light on the legends who came before us. So it's just been really fun to kind of see this place come back to life.
Yeah, and to just fast forward when I'm done playing, when she's done playing, we want it to still be a winning culture here, and we come back like Cheryl has done and Tina and some legends that have come back just to cheer us on, and we hope to do that in the future as well.
All right, thanks so much, girls. All right, we'll now open up with questions for Coach, and we'll start with the green in the front, and then we'll go to the back row end corner.
Beth Harris, AP. Lindsay, as of tonight, 5 Pac-12 teams has made it to the Sweet 16 in a year in which that conference is, on its last legs. Just kind of what does that say about the quality and the competition and kind of where things are at right now?
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I think we all knew what everyone in this conference was capable of. It's just was such a good league. It was such a good league, top to bottom. I've said the whole time, I think even the teams in the middle were better than people realized. I think Arizona proved that. But for sure, we knew that we were playing Sweet 16, Elite 8 quality games, Final Four quality games, night in and night out, and sometimes 3 or 4 times in a row. So, Tara started a really nice group chat amongst the coaches before this tournament started, really before all the postseason started, and just, as she's done for so long, been the leader on, hey, I know we're going our separate ways, but let's appreciate what we've all done together, and let's all send it out the best we can. And I think we all appreciate all those coaches and programs have made me a ton better, because if you can prep for this league, you can prep for anything else that's coming your way. So I'm not surprised at all, but I'm really proud of everyone.
Tuknina Nguyen with the LA Times. I'm back here in the corner.
Oh, hi.
Hi. Clarice, with her game today, coming off the bench, just what impresses you the most about the growth that she's had in her career here at USC?
Clarice is something else. I don't know if a lot of you guys know, but she is pre-med. She has taken, a ton of lab classes and is really committed. She's taken a really heavy load in the summer and all the time. I mean, we work together to make sure she can, I can accommodate her schedule and make sure that's her ultimate goal is to be a doctor, and she will be a doctor, right? But then she does this at a high level. She's really physically gifted. I mean, I think she's worked really hard to get her body in incredible shape. I mean, she is so athletic. And then I think she's really found her role. We talk about her confidence level. There's times in practice where, the coaches will look and say she doesn't realize how good she really could be and is at the things that she does. And I think she's really owned a role that is so important in college basketball to have people buy into what they're doing. She and Ray are like complete best friends. They were roommates freshman year. So it's really neat to have them kind of complement one another, how they do. They support each other a ton. But a lot of gratitude for how she stays ready no matter what, right? And a night like tonight showcases what she's really good at, which is defensively. She's so strong and patrols that paint, as does Rhea. So that 1-2 punch, we always say whoever they have as their big, and Jackson's good, we've got Rhea and C, and she knows sometimes that's going to be 8 minutes, and tonight it was 19, and it was game-changing. So really proud of her on a number of different levels.
We're going to go black and then the blue in the second row, and then if we have time, we'll get brown at the end again.
Congratulations, LG. I'm gonna go maybe sneak an extra one in here. I'm just really struck by the team chemistry and basically, you've had this this situation before in this rodeo, bringing total strangers together. Like, I'm just wondering, have you been able to put your finger on how this all has come together? Because basically, it's kind of almost your chemistry at this point that's taken you guys through.
Yeah.
And then how you can maybe reflect that on the incredible growth and journey that you guys have had over 4 months. Thinking about the first game to now is like, wow.
Yeah. I had a ton of nerves today. I had a ton of nerves, and not because of anything specific about basketball. I mean, Kansas is a really good team, and I knew we had to play well. But I had nerves because I really enjoy this group, and I want them to continue to be able to do this together. I want the country to see us. And so I actually was like walking around campus, and I sat down to get a coffee, and one guy was on my right, and he said, "Seriously? You're just like sitting here casually, like eating a salad and coffee when you have the game tonight?" And I was like, "Oh," and he recognized me. He said, "I had Taylor in class. He was a professor. He's like, I'll be there tonight." And then I finished. The woman on my right said, "Can't wait for the game tonight. I have my Juju jersey ready," right? And it gave me kind of a calm that at the end of it, right, these players really are who they are. We didn't need to manufacture something new tonight. We have great chemistry. We have really good players that are tough. Got to make plays to win. But there is a chemistry about us that gives me a kind of calmness. I don't know. I can't put my finger on it exactly. I think it starts, obviously, with Juju. Let's make no mistake. And when I say, I don't want to be hyperbole, but someone tell me if there's a better freshman season in the history of college basketball, I'd like to hear about it. Because I'm not saying we can analyze the stats and this or that, and our stats are great. But in terms of the ability to raise up a program and do it selflessly and do it with the magnetism, it doesn't work if you have a star that people don't want to play with. And then to have the maturity of the veteran kids around her. And we say maturity a lot, but they're also hoopers who make plays. And then to have our returning kids, Rhea and Otto and C, come with us on this change. It's all they have to be the right people. They have to buy into the right things. We've been challenged at times this year, and anything that could have been adverse, they turned it into positive, and we kept getting better. And I've just seen it come together that way, and it's really a beautiful thing if you're into sports and leadership and things working together as a team, and that kind of impacts everything in life, I think.
And I'm so sorry, we just have time for one more question, so we're going to go to Blue in the middle there.
Hey, Coach. Judo Kanye, Annenberg Media. You guys led for this whole game, but I want to ask you, how important was it just starting off the game really fast? You know, Juju Watkins gave you 7 points really quick, but just kind of continuing that momentum. How important was that in a game like this?
Yeah, it's huge, right? Like, I think just to, if it's a 40-minute game, it's going to be, a lot of things are going to ebb and flow, but I think we came out really ready. I think this team is locked in. I also knew, and actually Brandon I read his press conference from yesterday, and just to see if there was anything I could get, and he said someone asked about Juju, and he said, of course we're going to come with a scout and a game plan. He said, but the thing about great players is you got to execute that game plan. And so I do think getting to a new teams that haven't seen her before, for her to just come out really aggressive and be like, okay, it's not as easy as it might look on film, set a tone for us. And then they obviously, I thought we got stops early and we came out hot. That really helped, I think, just give us a confidence level for sure. We knew they were going to come back at us. They went zone. They got really aggressive to the rim. We had to weather some storms in there. But I think the hot start just made us feel like, okay, we know we can be us, and we have to be us at a high level. And we can do what we need to do.
Thank you so much, Coach.
Thank you, guys. J-Man, I haven't even seen you since the game. He's up past the
Welcome to the NCAA March Madness second round postgame press conference. Please take this time to silence your cell phones and remember no flash photography is permitted. We would also like to remind you that no outside recording or distribution is permitted by the NCAA for this event. We are joined by Kansas head coach Brandon Schneider and athletes Samaya Nichols and Zakiah Franklin. We ask that you please only ask a question when you have the microphone in your hand and that you state your name and publication each time you are handed the microphone. If you have joined us through Zoom, please raise your hand and include your name and publication when you are called on as well. Thank you, and we'll start with an opening statement from Coach, move to questions for the athletes, and then back to Coach.
Yeah, I'm really proud of what this group has become in the development of our team this year, but also proud of the progress that our program has made over the last 3 years. Tonight played an exceptionally good team. I thought the difference in the game was points off turnovers. Uncharacteristically, we turned the ball over, quite a bit in the first 15 minutes of the game and enabled them to get off to a fast start. And then I really thought in the second half, their bigs did a really good job protecting the rim and blocking shots and altering shots. Give them credit, when we cut it to 1, they responded with a 9-0 run as a really, really good team does.
All right, questions for the athletes? We'll start with the
Ben Hook, University Daily Kansan. Zakiah, you've played more minutes than any player in the history of this program. This was your final game. What are the best memories you can take away from playing at Kansas?
It's really a lot right now, especially at this moment. I would just have to say, piggyback off what Coach Brandon said, the last 3 years, just the growth of the program, the people who were here that aren't here right now, and the other 2 seniors who, Holly Kerskeeter and Tiana Jackson, who kind of stuck it out here as well. I would have to say they've just been a part of this and just the growth of the program. So I would have to say just that overall big picture.
Go to green in the front and then in the back corner.
Beth Harris, AP. Samaya, you guys worked really hard to get it down to 1 there. Then they took off on you again. Just how demoralizing was that in terms of, them, Clarice coming in and blocking shots for them and just not really being able to, kind of recharge again?
I feel like as a team, we really left each other back up. So block shot, turnover, it's a next play mentality. I wouldn't say we were just down the whole game. I wouldn't say we felt terrible or bad for ourselves. We genuinely went out there and played, and the fourth quarter, they got ahead. And I feel like that's the end of it. That's honestly just what happened.
Amanda Skurlock, LA Sentinel. Can you talk to me just about Tania Jackson, especially her rebounding during this game in the second and third quarter, and how effective that was for you guys during that time?
Yes. Tiana Jackson, correct? It's okay. She's very much needed on both ends, and she is dominant on the rebounds, and we really needed that today. Of course, they were animals on glass, and so they were. And she got some great rebounds that we really needed, helped with our momentum, and she does that every single time. So that's something new to us. We still praise her on that, and she did great today.
Blue.
So, depending on the decision of why that may vary, Samaya, you'll either be the lone returning senior or the lone returning starter or one of 2 returning starters for the team next year. What do you have to do, next season to carry this torch and keep it going forward, keep this progress going forward for Kansas?
I feel like it's a team sport, so I wouldn't say me individually on what I'd have to do. It's what we have to do as a team to get back here and advance from here. You got to get back in the lab, work on ourselves, things that we need to improve on, and then come together as a team and display it on the court.
We can go to third row with the hat.
Shotgun Sprouting 24/7 Sports. Zakaya, you played in a lot of different places. What was this atmosphere and this environment like tonight?
It was a great atmosphere, I have to say. Credit to them and just bringing out all their fans. It was pretty cool to play in front of. I would just have to say, like you said, I played in a lot of places, the Big 12, similar atmospheres as well. So this was a pretty great atmosphere.
Do we have any last questions for the athletes? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, questions for Coach? We'll start there, and then we're going to go to a question on the Zoom.
Connor Morissette, 24/7 Sports. Similar question to my friend Shotgun here. What was the atmosphere like tonight, Coach? How loud was this building compared to some other ones you played in this year?
It was a great atmosphere. You know, I think we do play in some really good venues and atmospheres in the Big 12. I think I want to credit, you know, the USC and the community, because I'm not sure that people would have anticipated it. You know, a lot going on in LA. And I thought that it was very much a college atmosphere that sometimes typically you see more in the Midwest, you know, in college towns. So credit, you know, USC and their fan base for coming out, because I thought it was exceptional for both games.
All right, Vince on Zoom, you may ask your question if you've got a question for Coach.
Yes. Hey, Coach. Vince Lovergene with WWW in Topeka. I know we talked before the season began, and you talked about what this group could do, and obviously you made it to the tournament. That was one of your biggest goals from last year. Now with a lot of those seniors heading out the door, how do you just continue to build the program you mentioned in your opening statement? What are those goals? What are those keys that you want to continue to build with this program, with the players that you have coming in, and also, you know, who might stay?
Well, our goals will always be to compete for a Big 12 championship and advance in the NCAA tournament. You know, we have to. I think it needs to be a goal to, you know, get out of this 8-9 game and playing a 1 seed in the second round. I think that would be one that surely would be beneficial in trying to advance.
Questions in the room? We'll go to Blue in the third row.
Coach, you were led again, as you have been many times this year, by Samaya Nichols. She scored 22 points. What can you say now we're looking back at the whole season of her impact coming into this program in year one?
I would probably say she exceeded expectations. You know, we're very aware of what her skill set and her versatility of her game that she was going to bring to the table. But I think what we learned was that her poise and composure and her ability to lead even veteran players was far beyond her years of experience.
Coach, you've done a really good job rebuilding the Kansas program. Lindsey Gottlieb in USC, this is year 3 for her, and they're a 1 seed. She's done a nice job rebuilding the program as well. Maybe you have, maybe you haven't. Have you given much thought to the USC rebuild, and just what are your thoughts on it overall?
Well, I've known Lindsey for a long time, and I told her during introductions how happy I was to see her back in the game because she's good for women's basketball. she's about the right things. She's about advancing and promoting our game, and she's about the players. And that's something that I tremendously respect.
Blue.
Coach, you'll be competing next year in a very different looking Big 12. You're going to be competing with a very different looking team. What do you have to do as a coach to sort of adjust everything in the program to what's going to be a huge offseason of change?
Oh, I think it's just it's a typical off season, you know, in college basketball now. We have some spots to fill. You know, we'll be aggressive in particular in the portal now in the spring. But I think we're a very attractive place with a lot of opportunities to step in and compete and play right away.
All right, and we'll have one last question from the hat in the third row.
Brandon, you mentioned their bigs were able to kind of dominate. Clarice Akamwafu, when she came in, it seemed like she kind of changed the tone. What did you see from her, and what was different when she entered the game there in the fourth quarter?
You know, I think physicality. I think, you know, when their 2-5 players can both really split and play about 20 minutes apiece, and we're asking Jackson, you know, to play 35 plus. I thought their physicality, you know, not only wore down Tiana, but wore down our team a little bit, because even when we could get to the rim, it was tough to finish. And, you know, I just thought they really impacted the game in a positive way.
All right. Thank you so much, Coach.
Thank you.